I think at one point of time, there's absolutely nothing. The only thing that I was doing was catching that 222 or C number bus from here to Bandra and going meeting Sneha and coming back.
Did you have to go through days when you didn't actually eat dinner because of a financial crunch?
I had absolutely no work, 2 years, almost 2 years, a little less than 2 years actually. So I had this, when I'd come to Bombay, I'd bought this, remember this purple Maruti Zen.
If somebody asked you today that when you first joined, what things would you do different? Would there be anything?
किसी बहुत बड़े आलम ने कहा है जिंदगियां दो होनी चाहिए, एक जीने के लिए और एक सीखने के लिए, लेकिन सीखना भी इसी में है और जीना भी इसी में है.
How important is money? Because you hear some of these actors saying that they're doing films for free. In some occasions, they say, pay me if you want, pay me if you don't want.
Depends on where you stand financially at a time when a job is offered to you.
You had nothing, and all of a sudden you get on her show, and you become like an overnight success.
No, when I was doing that show, Ekta Kapoor was already Ekta Kapoor. She was not some person who was struggling for work. She was already there. But having said that, you said even somebody who, for example, like her, Jeetuji's daughter, Jitinder's daughter, the star, his daughter, she also had to go through all that.
A lot of people or youngsters want to become Bollywood actors. Yeah, generally actors, whether it's TV or just acting. Now, some of them have this thing, they want to make a lot of money, they want to be popular, look good. For these people, what would you advise?
But that's a disease the entire world is into right now. It's not just Bollywood. Everybody wants the 2 minutes of fame and everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants the skin tight and everybody. So it's not just the actors. I would stand here by the actors and defend them. Having said that, out of all the things that you mentioned, I think the only thing that would keep you on for a longer run is whatever profession you might be in. And since we're talking about acting, if you are good at that, you will always come back, or you will always have work, or you will always get work. Not right now, but in some time.
He's well known for his work in television, and his debut as Angad Khanna in Kaisa Ye Pyaar Hai made him an instant superstar. He went on to play Shaurya Nanda in Kavyanjali and Raghu Malik in Kahin To Hoga. I'm talking about none other than Iqbal Khan. Let's welcome Iqbal Khan on Inner Habit. Iqbal Khan, welcome to Inner Habit. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We've been talking about this podcast for about a week or so, talking about the app, been discussing a number of things, and today finally we're discussing acting.
Yes.
So, sir, tell me something. Aapne acting shuru ki. How did it all begin for you?
So for me, when I basically used to do a lot of drama in school, as in not that he's a drama, not that drama, real drama like theater, and that kind of I now believe that there was a kind of a germ that that set up inside somewhere, unintentionally somewhere in the subconscious. And then I was in a boarding school in Himachal Pradesh, and then I moved to Delhi to do my college, and that's when I started modeling. And in Delhi, I don't know now, but at that time in Delhi, the only thing that used to happen was a lot of fashion ramp shows and a lot of print stuff. And to go beyond that, one had to move to Bombay to if you actually wanted to work in the movies or serials or music videos or whatever, or more ads or something like that. So that's how it progressed from the Delhi regular stuff to finally deciding that I should go back to I should go to Bombay and try it out.
So, sir, when we say modeling, how easy was it for you to tap into that industry? At that time, people said they didn't have that much variety as they have now. So, was it difficult for you?
When I was doing my college, I never looked at it like a career or something. what really mattered to me at that time was that uh, this is my rent, and this is what I need this much to sustain. So for me, it was like if I get that money, I'm fine. Then I would just live normally. So I had a good college life. It's not that I was slogging my self out, and I knew that this is what my bracket of finances which I need for the month. Once I had that, I'm done. Then I would not even look for work after that. And then the next month would start again. Let's do that and let's do this.
So from there, you've now come to Mumbai.
Yes.
How did you then actually step into the acting profession?
So 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 me and there were a couple of other friends of mine who we all used to model together, and we moved to Bombay. And all of us thought that we'll make it in just a few months, and then we'll go buy a piece of land next to Shah Rukh Khan's house, and we'll be neighbors. So yeah, but not exactly, things didn't turn out the way they turned out for everybody. But we're all different, and life hit us differently, and in a good way, because there's nothing bad, I believe. When you look back in the past, like 10, 15, 20 years ago, and you realize that everything had a reason, and that reason was okay. So I shifted to Bombay, and then I did a lot of music videos with Anubhav Sinha Productions. I was practically living in their office. I used to eat there, and my lunch money used to be like saved. Anubhav Sinha's younger brother was my friend, and my my one meal would be like I would save money on that, and I would eat there, and that was like a good thing. And then after this, these music videos, I signed two films, and both the films flopped, which was Funtoosh, and there's a film called Bullet. And Bullet was an action film, and Funtoosh was a comedy film. Funtoosh, I think everybody in the world, and their fathers and mothers and grandfathers and grandmothers watched that film, but not in theaters, unfortunately. They watched it on Zee Cinema. I always say it was the Suryavansham of Zee Cinema. How Sony has Suryavansham, I call it the Suryavansham of Zee. So everybody watched it there. But after that, there was this sudden, absolutely no work for almost 2 years. There was zero work, and then I don't know what to do. It was getting very difficult. And then suddenly one day I got a call for TV, and TV was not in my vision at all at that time. But I had to take it up because you have to pay your next month's rent. So I took it up, and it just completely changed my life.
So, do you think the failure and the success of movies define your next project and whether you get your next project?
Now that's the math and science that you, me, and the industry pundits have discovered. If you would ask me this question maybe 10 years ago, I would say yes. But now I don't look at life like that. Anything can happen to you at any point of time. You can get a break, you can get very rich, you can get very poor, you can be amazing, you can be bad. Anything can happen. There's no particular rule to it. There is no a defined path that one knows that you have to, apart from a path that's righteous, that you have to be a nice human being. Apart from that, it's just a zigzag, and you never know what happens when. So sometimes you're not talented at all, and you have all the work. Sometimes you're talented and you have no work. Sometimes you are talented and you have work. Sometimes you're not talented and you don't have work. So these are these possibilities. They just they happen in life. So rest everything when things happen, there's a story, and when things don't happen, there are stories which I call excuse. So which is okay, which is fine.
Now, those 2 years, and I want to point on those 2 years because my channel is called Inner Habit, which means you go through different phases within those 2 years because there's doubt, there's self doubt, then there is, do I need to change myself this way? Do I need to change myself that way? If you look at it, how did you sort of, how did you conquer all your fears in those 2 years? What do you keep saying to yourself? What do you do differently when somebody is going through a phase like that?
So I believe, when I think when I moved to Bombay, I think I was 21 years old, or 20, around that time. And when you're in that age, and if something happens, you're still, I wouldn't really call a 20-year-old, which the person can handle stuff. So anything that happens when you come back home, and if there's someone, that's a break. That's a great help. If you have parents, if you have a wife, if you have children, if you have a brother, if you have a sister, somebody has to be home to come back to, and it just your that kind of energy that drains you gets absorbed, and you feel much better. It's not the same coming to a house that's empty. And most of the people who come from small towns to Bombay to act, they usually live on rent, and they're mostly alone. And even if they're living with friends, all of them are going through the same thing. So it's a great help if you're living with parents, because they're older, they've lived life more than you have, and they know things more than you. Um, but unfortunately, that was not the case with me, because my folks lived back in Kashmir and I was here alone. But I want to thank my parents for giving me the gift of prayer, uh, that they kind of instilled in me from in a very, very young age. So I would rely on God very, very often, even as a kid. In fact, this is my favorite quote. I don't believe in miracles. I rely on them. So, uh, so that kind of, when you come back home and you're sad, you're upset, you're depressed, there's a prayer mat, and you pray, and you connect with God, and you always ask when you ask God, तुझसे नहीं मांगूंगा तो किसको मांगूंगा, तुझे नहीं मांगूंगा तो किससे मांगूंगा, और है कौन है देने वाला. So that तू नहीं संभालेगा तो कौन संभालेगा. So that really, really helped me in those days.
So, outside of that, if somebody asked you today that when you first joined, what things would you do different? Would there be anything?
किसी बहुत बड़े आलिम ने कहा है, जिंदगियां दो होनी चाहिए, एक जीने के लिए और एक सीखने के लिए. लेकिन सीखना भी इसी में है और जीना भी इसी में है. तो ये जो व्हाट यू सेड राइट नाउ ना, इज अ वेरी फेमस मिर्जा गालिब शेर. इट सेज, बड़ी मुद्दत के गालिब मर गया पर याद आता है. वो हर बात पे कहना कि ये होता तो क्या होता, ये होता तो वो होता, ये होता तो वो. It's the silliest thing that one can say about the past situation, that, oh, I should have done it this way. Because if it has happened in a way, there has to be a reason. So don't worry.
So, you wouldn't change anything. That's good.
Nothing. It's just, you might want to, you you might want to change what you feel you should have done, but then you do that. You think that today is because you did that. अब आप कभी बस में ट्रैवल ही नहीं करे, तो आपको कैसे पता चलेगा बस के अंदर क्या होता है.
Sir, a lot of people, and you probably know this, a lot of people or youngsters want to become Bollywood actors, yeah. Generally, actors, whether it's TV or just acting. Now, some of them have this thing that they want to make a lot of money, they want to be popular, look good. For these people, what would you advise them? Now, there's two things. One is you can say to somebody, focus on your talent rather than all that, because talent is what will take you to a certain level, a certain role, whatever they want. But there's also the looks aspect that they focus on, and looking flash and all that.
But that's a disease the entire world is into right now. It's not just Bollywood. Uh, it's everybody. Uh, it's not everybody wants the 2 minutes of fame, and everybody wants to look good, and everybody wants the skin tight, and everybody. So, so it's not just the actors. I would stand here by the actors and defend them. But um, having said that, out of all the things that you mentioned, I think the only thing that would keep you on for a longer run is whatever profession you might be in. And since we're talking about acting, so if you are good at that, you will always come back, or you will always have work, or you will always get work. If not right now, but in some time, but you will. That it purely depends on your acting, and the time now in our profession in India has changed quite a bit. Where I think it's absolutely not necessary just to be good looking. I think that in fact with certain kind of films it becomes it's a minus. Any good director, any director, unless you have God's given you the capability of transforming into something else absolutely. Otherwise, if you look basic, you can fit into quite a bit of roles.
I agree. I agree. And plus, there's a lot more avenues that have opened up. So it's not only films anymore. It's not only TV anymore. There's, small films that people do. And then there's also web series now that have really come up too.
Yes.
So, sir, now you've actually gone and you've entered the TV world, essentially. How different was that in comparison to what you started with?
So it was absolutely very different because in those days, I remember we used to shoot. Uh, we used to shoot on film. There used to be a can. There used to be that 35 typical 35 camera. There used to be a film that used to fit on top, and uh, it was we would not rehearse and we would have minimum takes and this and that. And uh, there were no monitors which director would look into, and director would stand behind the camera and all that stuff. But TV was already video by then. People would shoot on beta cams and DG beta after that, and there would be tape and they would have monitors. And but the only difference that at that point of time that I saw was that pace of work was way faster on TV than in films, which I think happens even now too. Yeah. Because the budgets are smaller and फैला हुआ नहीं होता हर कुछ चीज, and everything at the end of the day depends on your budget. आपकी कहानी में आप बजट आपका है तो आप लिखते लिखते लिखोगे कि मेरे पास वो अचानक समुद्र के बीच में 100 घोड़े दौड़ने लग गए। आपके पास कम बजट है तो 50 घोड़े हो जाएंगे। आपके पास उससे भी कम बजट है तो एक घोड़ा भागेगा। आपके पास है ही नहीं पैसे तो फिर आप खुद को दौड़ते हुए दिखाओगे वहां पे। तो इट ऑल एट द एंड ऑफ द डे योर क्रिएटिविटी in terms of how big you can make it is the kind of money that you have. So TV always has had a smaller budget.
So, you've talked about the technology aspect of things, like, what it was in terms of the transition from the big cans through to the VHSs and so on. And I remember those beautiful times, and I show my children VHSs today, and they look at me like I'm crazy. And it's just a beautiful time to show them all these things, and it's remarkable to see the facial reactions. But you've gone from there, you know, the obviously when you're in front of screen for TV versus movies? It's very different, right?
Well, as an actor, uh, it should not matter much because you just have to make sure that you perform good here and there. It's just that in films you get more time to prepare and stuff like that. Uh, so that's just from purely from the actor's point of view.
So tell me about TV life. Were you happy doing TV? What was your favorite role essentially?
I think more than was I happy doing TV was that I was very excited about just working because I had no work for 2 years, and what was really giving me a kick was that I was working. That was amazing, and those were crazy days for TV. It was like a TV at that time was of a different level altogether. Everybody would watch TV. Everybody, from Sabji to Bhabiji to Bhaiyaji to your maids at home and to your chauffeurs, everybody would watch TV. Now things have changed. So it was big. It was big. So I really had a good time. Uh, the only thing that I feel went a little overboard was the work hours. Those used to be a little, not little, pretty crazy actually.
So you were working like early shift all the way till late night?
But what you just said was something that we wished for actually. But we would shoot for like from 7 a.m. to next day 7 a.m. and then go back home, take a shower, and come back and start shooting again, and then shoot again till 12. Then go back home, sleep for 5 hours, get up, go back again. It and it was just it was everybody was shooting like that. It was a mess, but 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 it was crazy
Why? Why were you doing such shifts?
because at that time scripts would not come on time, and which still sometime happens, but at least nobody goes crazy anymore. Nobody shoots beyond 12 hours anymore. At that time, you know, things episodes would get scrapped, and then you would have to shoot say one entire episode from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and then you would go again. And once that is over, then you would have to get going again because it's tomorrow's telecast, and so on and so forth. It would just go on and on and on. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do that. That's insane. So you only got literally in a span of 24 to 48 hours, 24 hours, you only got 5 hours sleep. Maybe even more than that, 36 hours, probably 5 hours sleep.
On a good day, yes.
I couldn't do that. I just couldn't do it. It's amazing. All right, so did you ever experience burnout as a result?
Uh, Physically, not mentally. Mentally, not just me, everybody around. We used to be pretty kicked about working in those hours. But yes, a lot of people would faint and all that on the set. Uh, Physically, yes, I kind of realized that uh, once my health started deteriorating, and I realized that some stomach bug or something. Then I realized I went to a doctor, and doctor said you need to take it easy. You're going crazy. You're working hours and this that. You can't be eating breakfast at 12 in the afternoon and then your lunch at 5 in the evening and then dinner at 4 a.m. That cannot happen. That's not good. And you need at least 6 hours of sleep in 24 hours. And that's the time I realized that I don't have to live just these 3 4 years and give all these people who are making you work like that, whether it's whoever, whether it's the broadcaster or the production house or whoever, whatever these people are, that's or that show, whatever you're doing, that's not life. So nobody can say no to you when you shoot, when you come on time and you leave on time. And even at that time, there were actors who would do that. They would come on time and go on time. And I realized that, and I would always come on time, but never go back. On time, nahi, forget it. Never go back only. so, so for me, that's when I realized that if you come on time, you do your work properly. Nobody has a problem because of you. Work is smooth because of you. You're a pillar in the unit. You can go back on time, whatever time you want to get out. Nobody will say anything. And if they say, they can keep saying it.
So then you got to a stage where you turned around and said to everybody, I'm here on time, let's finish on time.
Yes, yes, I started doing that.
And how did that work for you in the sense that these shows and the producers and the directors, were they okay with it? After a while, I'm assuming they would be, right?
So initially you become a villain, but that's okay.
Well, I suppose it's a benefit for all of everyone.
You know, when for example, it's a silly human tendency. You have a dog, and you keep hitting the dog, and the dog doesn't say anything. But then at one point of time, the dog bites you because you keep hitting the dog, and then the dog is dangerous. It's a dangerous dog. So that's what happens. Not just in this field; it happens everywhere. So the lesson here is to keep a rule. Don't become that dog, which will eventually bite. You got to bite the first time they hate you.
So, what has been your most memorable experience on any set? I'm sure you have plenty, right? But the one thing that you still remember today, I mean, it could have happened last week or the month before or anything.
I seriously don't know. I've always had a good time on the set. Um, I make sure that uh, the set is happy, we're having fun. Nobody talks about anyone behind the back. And usually, since last few years, I'm the most senior most on the set. So I make sure this happens. And I can't think of a Yahoo moment that happened here.
Sir, how do you choose your projects and how do you decide which project to work on? I mean, you went through that phase where you said, okay, I'm just going to take that. I suppose I didn't have any work for 2 years now. I'm going to take whatever I kind of get. But then after a certain point, you establish yourself again within the TV industry, which you have done for a number of years now. So you get to a stage where, you're probably getting roles in TV series and stuff. So how do you choose your project?
I have to tell you, God has been very kind to me. God has been very, very kind to me. 90% of the things that have been offered to me have been good things. So I will take zero credit that I choose this and I choose that. Mostly stuff that's offered to me is nice. And I've been very, very lucky that way.
So you have no process where you decide what works, what doesn't work.
My process that way, it's very simple. Uh, so it's the totality of the project. What's the basic story of the project and my role, and then your money. These are the three things that have to be in sync with each other. The main story of the picture, the main your role, and your monies. These three things.
How important is money? Because you hear some of these actors saying that they're doing films for free. In some occasions, they say, pay me if you want, pay me if you don't want. And I think it plays an importance because, in my view, I wouldn't go down, this is my view, to say, okay, well, pay me if you want, pay me if you don't. But how important is it? I mean, money is required by everyone.
Money is very important to, of course, to sustain and all that. But if you only work for money, I don't think you really last long in what you're doing. But there has to, of course, eventually it's the basic structure is roti kapad makan, na? And that is why you earn. Apart from that, now whatever thing is, that's all extra cheese. The bread and butter is just that. So it is important, but if you only look at that, then you might, because uh, not everything that gives you a lot of money is awesome. So, so if you only choose money, then you might miss out on some awesome things.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that too.
I also like to add, it depends on where do you stand financially at a time when a job is offered to you. Are you in a position to choose this is not, I don't want to do this? Or are you in a position that you have to choose, I have to pay my next month's rent? And then you have to do it. You have to take God's name and do it. You don't have to worry about it.
When there's a crunch, a money crunch, and I'm assuming that those 2 years there was a bit of a money crunch in a sense. How did you deal with that? Did did you have any family support, or were you lucky you had savings? How did you deal with that?
So I couldn't tell my family because, your parents, I had this feeling that, they would really get upset and they'd be worried. So that point, of course, it had to be cut out. Apart from that, you just cut down on whatever things that you can. That's what you have to do at that point of time. And for me, I was not married then. There were no children. So there's no web created by me, but at that point of time, you know, there's no family to support, or it's okay. And for example, when you don't have the money, you'll not eat dinner one day. It's okay. But when you have a family, you don't want to eat dinner, you don't. But you have your children, you have your wife. You need to take care of all that. So I got saved there that time.
Did you have to go through days when you didn't actually eat dinner because of a financial crunch?
I had absolutely no work for 2 years, almost 2 years, a little less than 2 years actually. So, so I used to, I had this, when I'd come to Bombay, I'd bought this, remember this purple Maruti Zen, I still remember. So, and I used to go meet Sneha, my wife, in Bandra. So initially I used to go in the car, but then this happened, and then I stopped going in the car. I started taking the bus, and then I remember I sold the car, and I think at one point of time I just there was absolutely nothing. I was just the only thing that I was doing was catching that 222 or a C number bus from here to Bandra and going meeting Sneha and coming back. So I think that also kept me a little sane at that time. I think so. My attention for that larger period of the day which I would spend with her used to kind of not psych me up of thinking of work.
Did you do modeling at the time?
Well, I thought that I have left that uh, entire modeling thing back in Delhi, but those 1.5 2 years I also started looking for work as a model or whatever, but nothing was happening. You know those those phases where you feel that every door is shut. That had happened.
What role in TV made you popular?
So my first TV show, which was called Kaisa Pyaar hai, and something that I only picked up because I wanted to pay my next month's rent, was a crazy hit show, and the character that I played was called Angad. That was like a massive hit, and it just turned my life around. Plus, it was a Balaji show and Ekta's show, and very popular, very popular.
I had a screenwriter who came on my podcast. His episode actually releases in 2 weeks. And he did a lot of writing for Balaji. And we were talking about how Ekta Kapoor came up, for example, and how she used to do pilots and they just sit in the can. and then all of a sudden she got a big break. So I guess in that sense, it was a little bit like that for you too, where you had nothing and all of a sudden you get on her show and you become like an overnight success, essentially.
Oh, how much I hate this word overnight success. I can't tell you. People, I mean, I imagine telling you the entire 2 years how badly it affected me, and you're saying overnight success. So, uh, no, when I was doing that show, Ekta Kapoor was already Ekta Kapoor. She was not some person who was struggling for work. She was already there. But having said that, you said, even somebody who, for example, like her, who's Jituji's daughter, Jitinder's daughter, Jitinder the star, his daughter, she also had to go through all that. It doesn't come easy for anyone.
Yeah, yeah, and he'd been with her from the start, so he'd seen her ups and downs, obviously. So, did you ever see her directing on set?
Uh, no, but she was very clear about uh, what she wants in the show. And I don't know about now, but at that time, she was an absolute workaholic, and her meetings would go on till like 4 in the morning, and she'd only work, 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 and, and she would take the onus of I have created this, so it depends on me. So she would take that seriously and work on it. And when you give that much time to something, it always has a good result, which it had at that point in time.
Yeah, true, true. Okay, so you've become successful. You now starting, the floodgates are now opening. I suppose is the best way to say it. And you're getting more and more and more roles. Is that is that when you got married to your wife? Is that when you decided, okay, now I'm settled. Now I want to get married?
No, I so because it was like my working hours were crazy, and I was just going mad in my head, and the health was deteriorating, and then I just stopped working for some time. That's when I decided that I'm going to get married. People work and then get married. I stopped working and then I got married. so, so, so I think after I got married, and I almost took a gap of like 7 months, and I started working after 7 to 8 months.
So then, did you ever think कि 2 साल के लिए मैंने काम नहीं किया था, अगर छोड़ दिया तो फिर से काम नहीं मिलेगा, like I won't get any work again? Did that thought ever cross your mind?
Not at that time, not at that time at all, because I think वो 2-3 साल जो मैंने काम किया था, तो उतना तो आज के लोग मेरे ख्याल से 5-6 साल में करते होंगे.
Yeah, I can imagine why you took a break. Shikha, you got married. What changed after that? Because now you have a partner, and I'm sure you're thinking about kids and stuff. So what changes then? When you go back, do you set a standard? Do you set a structure? How does it work for you?
No, I don't really uh, interfere in the larger things at home that Sneha does. I only, I think she pretty much handles everything at home, most of the things, and I handle outside, and but I've tried handling inside. Uh, it's very tough. It's
Yeah.
it's easier going out working than handling home. It's very tough.
Yeah, fair enough. I totally agree with that. Look, I'm so happy that you found your space, as we'd say. क्योंकि there are times when you begin to question whether you are in the right profession when things aren't going so well. So to actually find your space, and it's got to be that comfort space. So I'm so happy in that sense for you that you found that space, because you've created a wonderful name for yourself within that space as
Thank you,
well.
thank you, thank you. Hopefully.
Sir, I have some fun and light-hearted questions now for you.
Okay, okay.
What's your favorite movie of all time and why?
Uh, so one is Andaz Apna Apna.
Of course.
That is my all time favorite. अरे मैं कल ही सोच रहा था मेरे के अंदाज अपना अपना के अलावा ये भी मेरी फेवरेट फिल्म है. सर फिल्म है. हाँ. And then I really liked um, Sandra Bullock's Blind Side.
Oh,
So
interesting.
so I can watch that film and Andaz Apna Apna, like if it's going on TV, I'll watch it. It's always I can watch it.
So why though? Okay, and that's apna apna, everyone loves it. So I'm not even going to ask you. Well, maybe I should ask you your view.
Yeah, Andaz Apna Apna it was a pretty crazy comedy film. It was something that broke the chains of slapstick and got characters into something else. It was a mad film. It was a trippy film. It was like, what the hell is happening? That kind of stuff, and you loved it. Uh, why I like Blindside is because uh, I like stories where righteous people get their due, and although it's a true story, the Blindside, I think it's really they've made that true story into a very entertaining way, and it shows how a person with a large heart can actually bring awesomeness into the environment.
For sure. Now, if you weren't an actor, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
अरे खुदा की कसम कुछ नहीं पता मुझे. I don't know anything. Just I no clue, no clue at all. Maybe a farmer or something, but that also requires certain kind of a knowledge which I don't have. So I think every time I say farmer, that maybe means that I can I can be a mazdoor, like we do physical work.
Sir, what is the most weirdest rumor you've heard about yourself?
My social life is so amazing. I know four and a half people in the last 24 years, and actually don't go out that much, and know people, but people don't know me that much. So I think they would be in a difficult position to start a rumor, unless I don't know anything of that. I can't think of anything right now.
Do you have any sort of special talents or skills that people don't know about?
I'm crazy when it comes to ironing clothes. So I iron my own clothes, and for example, if I see my daughter or somebody, or wife, somebody, and if they have even one crease on their whatever they're wearing, I can't take it. I tell them just
Hmm.
give it to me. I'll iron it. So I just yeah, and I'm very very good at it.
Interesting, interesting. You're the first one I've heard who does that.
Yes, I also have a crazy habit of going to the kitchen at night before sleeping and seeing the kitchen sink, if that net, if that is completely clean or not. Because if it's not, it stays in my mind.
Are you obsessive compulsive? Like, do you have OCD type tendencies?
No, 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 no. Just this. I don't know why I do.
Okay, fair enough. And the next question is, what is your comfort food when you're stressed out or upset?
Just food. Any kind of food.
Do you have like a favorite cuisine?
I love mutton biryani. I really like mutton biryani. I also uh, I like any kind of dessert. I like any kind of chocolate. Like anything that has sugar in it. I don't like chicken these days since last few years. I don't know, somehow chicken doesn't taste like chicken these days.
And you still train, obviously, so you have to work with a professional who guides you on your diet, as you as well.
No. So I've realized, you must have heard this phrase, you know your body the best. So after I've always done sports in school, and I started working out very 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 early. So experimented a lot with diet and how to train, how not to train, and this and that. I think I'm pretty much okay with myself with what I do. It doesn't work with me when somebody tells me eat this or eat that. I know by now that if there's something that doesn't suit me or doesn't suit me, or then I don't have it. And there are certain things that I know they don't suit me, but I'll still have them. So, but sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't. I don't really kill myself and stop myself from doing things. I think that the best discipline would be, and while saying this to you, I say this to myself also, that when people say you have to be disciplined to grow in life, and it's a very good line because just have a balance in everything that one eats and one does and whatever. Can't be a fanatic about just one thing. Then you might turn out to be an amazing one in that particular thing. But at some point of time, you'll realize that, oh God, I missed out on so much. So, oh God, we were talking about diet. Where did I go? So,
That's okay. It's okay. It's actually a good thing you're saying there.
so diet wise, so I don't know. There's a very close friend of mine. His name is Irfan. He trains me once in a while. So, but I know how much I should train, how much I should not, and where does it ache and where it doesn't, and how much. I don't go crazy with the weights and all that anymore. I don't. I train 6 days a week, but I I don't lift very very heavy weight, and I've realized that nobody should do that because after some point of time, it's not good for the bones, joints especially.
This is true. Now, I guess this will be one of my final questions, but what can the audience expect from you in the next 12 to 24 months? Do you have exciting stuff coming up? Anything you want to tell them?
That's a question only God can know. Nobody else. If you ask me about tomorrow, I'll say the same. I don't know.
Fair enough. So, no new projects in the horizon?
Well, in terms of the projects that you're asking me, it's something that I've ventured into, and and I cannot talk about it right now. But inshallah soon, I'll let everybody know what it is. That's one, and apart from that, there is nothing that I've signed right now that I can say that I'm doing this. But yeah, one needs to weigh things and see which one, what is it. As I told you earlier, the total story, your role, and the money, those things have to match, and that's when you pick up something.
So, Iqbal sir, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. You've given me your time. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, White.